Hello and welcome back to my channel. I don't know where that introduction came from. Welcome back, you guys. Oh, cat got my tongue. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. If you are new here, I'm Steph. Super weird. If you're weird, if you like being weird, if you like being like a little bit unique, if you think it's funny and like just entertaining and like you like to live life just being yourself, I would love if you would consider subscribing before moving on. Today's video is going to be all about products that I have brought into my collection in 2020 and that I regret. These are dumb product purchases that I just shouldn't have bought. And a lot of it has to do with me just impulse buying. I did a low buy last year and when the reins were released, it was like, let me buy all of the things. Because I learned nothing from restrictive buying. I just like to buy things, okay? I will say, you guys, I don't know if like, I personally always think this when I watch people's videos, like, are people like just like racking up their credit card debt? I will say I do not buy makeup with a credit card. My husband and I, when we first started our relationship, got ourselves into a bit of a pickle with our financial situation and just credit card debt in general, and we have worked diligently to clean that up. So I do not, if I like legitimately cannot afford makeup and would have to use a credit card to purchase it, I do not do that. So I just want that to be clear. I never ever would recommend racking up a credit card to purchase makeup, whatever it may be. I mean, I get there's emergency situations, and trust me, I've been in the shoes of like when I was in college, I worked at Express, and I would literally like I would rack up my Express credit card, pay it off, and then literally rack it right up again. So I never want to, I know I do a lot of hauls on my channel and I know I talk a lot about product that I love, but I never want to be someone that encourages you to go spend money that you don't necessarily have. So I just want to throw that disclaimer out there. But definitely these products just came into my life because I was just like carelessly buying and not really thinking about the purchases. So we're gonna get into it today. I have 15 to 20 products already this year that I regret buying for one reason or another. So grab your coffee and let's get into it. First, if you have yet to subscribe to my channel, I already know by this introduction that you like would definitely want to be my friend and definitely be subscribed. So the red subscribe button is right down below. I will give you a moment to click it so that you will be part of the craziness over here. But let's just jump into this video. All right, you guys, number one, ooh, what would be like my number one regret be? I think, and this is a disappointment because I actually did really think long and hard about this. I was in Sephora, this was before COVID happened. I was in Sephora multiple times. I like swatched this. I like really wanted this. This was a product that like I swatched in store and I thought about for days after. I went back to Sephora, swatched it again, talked myself out of it again, and then eventually it came home with me, and it is the Tatcha Kissu lip mask. This retails for $28 and I flew through this. The texture on the actual lips was much different than I felt like the texture was when I swatched it in store. And I just think that this is so overpriced for what it is. Sure, it was nourishing on the lips, but nothing like incredible. I feel like you could get the same, if not better, effects from like the Bite Beauty Agave lip mask. I think is fantastic, which I know costs about the same. It's $26 as opposed to $28. But the Bite Beauty, you're getting so much more product. So I did use this up and get my money's worth out of it, but I do regret purchasing this. That's $28 that could have gone to like 2 lip jellies from Tower 28. Highly recommend those. Shameless plug. Okay, next up I have a fragrance here. So I picked this up from Altir Cologne. I'm probably butchering that. I wanted a summer scent. You guys, I went to Sephora yesterday and I smelled the Jo Malone, I think it's the Wood Sage and Sea Salt. So many of you recommended that after I put it in my $1,000 Sephora fantasy cart. You guys are not wrong. I freaking need that in my life. It's so expensive, but I feel like I'm just gonna like convince my husband that like I've been doing a ton around the house and he maybe hasn't been helping out as much as he could. So like if he wanted to surprise me, maybe he could get me that fragrance and then like I would smell good for him and he would really like it. I also planted in his mind that I really want these UGG slippers, so maybe he'll just surprise me with both. But I purchased this, and I purchased just like the traveler size because personally I prefer like more musky, woodsy, like masculine scents, and I know that those typically are more geared for fall, but I did want a summertime fragrance. But I knew if I purchased like a full-size bottle, I wouldn't have gotten even close to near like a third or half of it used up. So I decided to just pick up the Traveler of the Altier Cologne Clementine California, and this just didn't smell great on me. I've heard a lot of people really like this one, and I just don't think like the scents or the notes in this vibe with either my personal preferences or just like my body chemistry. I think it's really interesting that certain scents can smell incredible on certain people and then really not so incredible on others, and this is one that just like did not really smell incredible on me. So I'm still on the hunt for my perfect summer scent. There is one from Penrose that I really enjoy, but I used that when my husband and I went to Vegas last year because I had heard Jessica Braun talk about how whenever her and her husband go on a vacation to someplace new, she'll buy a perfume and use the perfume wherever they go on vacation, and then every time she goes back to use that perfume, it just brings back all the memories of that vacation. So I really liked that Penrose scent that I had, but I think of Las Vegas every time I use it, and I don't want to like ruin the memories. Like I want it to be like a special fragrance. So if you guys have any recommendations on a good like fresh summer scent, let me know. I know summer's almost over. I have a couple of like more floral scented perfumes I have that I can get me through the rest of summer, but for next summer I'm on the hunt. I'm on the hunt and I need some help. I have 3 foundations actually to talk about. One of them I no longer have in my collection, and that was the CoverGirl Clean Fresh Makeup foundation tinted moisturizer. I don't know what you would call it. It was so sheer coverage, but at the same time it just like you'd spread it on your face and then it would completely like, it would just get like sucked in like a vacuum to your fine lines. So it would be like the only part of your face that would have the actual foundation on it would be like your fine lines and wrinkles. Literally the most disgusting look on me ever. I know there are people who really love this. I feel like you have to have like 14-year-old perfect skin for this to look good on you. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's mature skin people out there that this looks amazing on, but I personally hated it, and I've also heard quite a few people have had reactions to that. I think there's like coconut milk in it, so that could perhaps be where the reaction's coming from, but I used that like 3 or 4 times and I was like, okay, this just is absolutely not worth trying to get through. I even tried mixing it with like other foundations and I was like, not for me. Another regret, and this isn't because I don't like this product, this is the Laura Mercier Tinted Moisturizer. I already had the tinted luminizing moisturizer from Laura Mercier that I'm trying to get through, and I only bought this because I wanted to compare this to that one. This is a $47 tinted moisturizer, and I have brought so many foundations and tinted moisturizers into my collection this year. I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed, so I just kind of regret purchasing this at the time that I did. I feel like I should have waited until I worked my way through some other tinted moisturizers or some other foundations before bringing this into my collection. Sure, I'm happy to have this in my collection. I just kind of regret the timing of when I purchased this. And then also my NARS Sheer Glow. I don't know how to match myself to a NARS foundation. It just never seems to work for me. So I continue to hate every single NARS foundation that I've ever tried. I tried the Naturally Radiant. It just didn't work for me. It looked horrible on my skin. This same situation, I feel like if this was actually a shade that matched me, I might actually like this one. But I was in store, I had like 18 swatches of different shades on me, and I was like, none of these are right. I ended up going with the shade Light 3, and I purchased this in the wintertime when I was more fair, but it was still too fair for me. So I really regret this. It was $47. I did not need that. Next up from ColourPop, this was This was absolutely just a spur of the moment, like, impulse buy. So this is in the shade Monster. It's one of their Super Shock Cheek Shadows. And I don't know how well you'll be able to see this swatched here, but in store it just looked like the most beautiful, like, warm toned pinky highlight, which is something that I truly love. But on the skin, this definitely has like a purple shift to it as well, and it can definitely look a little bit like bruisey on the cheeks. Like, it can look like it's gonna match this bruise right here, and I don't want to look like I got in a bar fight the night before, so I probably just shouldn't have purchased this one, and I do regret it. Okay, this might be a surprise to some of you, and this is pretty new to my collection. I purchased this so spur of the moment on a whim. When I did haul this, I kind of told the story. I hadn't been to an Ulta or Sephora since everything closed down due to COVID, and I found out that my Ulta was open, and I just like really needed that fix of going into a store. Like, I feel so cooped up at home. It's just like not a good situation. So I put my face mask on. I was like raring to go. I had like 15 minutes in Ulta, and then I had to leave to get my daughter from daycare. So I picked up like 3 blushes. The only thing I bought in that, like when I was in the store, was 3 blushes, which is stupid because I have so much blush. But I walked by one of my favorite blush formulas. I walked by the Buxom primer infused blush display, and this one caught my eye. I don't know if it's because this is in the shade Ibiza and it's a place that I really want to go, but you guys, this is such a pink tone blush, and I just don't reach for shades like this. So I need to figure out a way to like sheer this out and make this work for me, because it's just too pink. It's just too pink for me. I definitely did not need to purchase this. I really love my Mykonos and Seychelles. Seychelles would be number 1, but Mykonos has been beautiful for the summertime, especially if you like more of a coral toned blush. I don't know why I bought this. I never wear pink blush, so I've mentioned this before. I do regret buying this Buxom lip balm, which is such a bummer. I was so excited when I walked by this Buxom display and was like, Buxom has a balm? I love lip balms. I absolutely need this. And it was this big jumbo, like, crayon type of thing. I got mine in the shade Inner Glow, which is a really beautiful nude shade. The problem I have with this is it is so big, like a jumbo glue stick, that like it just kind of gets everywhere. Like, it's very hard to apply. I mean, it's fine, but it's just hard to apply. So I don't like the packaging on this. I wouldn't repurchase this. I have actually used this as a cream blush, and I do like it that way. And actually, I don't have like a ton, well, maybe I do have quite a bit of product left of this. But, I mean, my goal is to use this up, but I definitely didn't need to buy this, and I do regret it. Another thing that I had on my lips before I applied that balm was this Lawless lipstick. So this was another impulse buy. They had just released these. They had a display in my Sephora, and I decided to pick up the shade Annie. I just thought it was such a beautiful nude pink shade, and this is just almost a little bit too light for my lips. It is a really comfortable formula, but I do find that it does really wear away in the center of the lips, kind of give you that butthole lip effect that nobody thinks is cute. Overall, the formula I do like, and I would be interested in testing this out in a different shade. I feel like maybe if I had gotten a different shade, I would like this better, but I regret the shade that I selected. I wish I had taken more time to like swatch everything and to really think through the purchase, because I believe these are like 28 bucks. So I'm not saying I won't ever buy one of these again, and I'm not saying it's a bad formula. I just regret the shade that I decided to purchase. All right, you guys, this next one pains me because I do love this, especially for the packaging. And honestly, like, I'm not that mad that I own this, but the more I think about it, the more I'm like, okay, I spent $55 literally to just watch confetti like drip from one side to the next, because when I bought this, I knew I wasn't gonna get a ton of use out of the shades inside. Now, I do think that this cream blush is absolutely stunning, and I do really like this highlight. It is a little bit deep for me, if I am fair, but these two shades, these two, yes, they're so glittery. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, it could be pretty, but it's just so freaking glittery, especially the diamond powder, which is this right here. This I'll use as an eyeshadow, nothing more. Like I cannot, I don't know if you can see the glitter flecks in this. I cannot use that as a freaking cheek product. This I could use as a super glowy blush, and I have from time to time. And actually, if you really take the time to like shear this out and buff over it with like a beauty blender afterwards, this can look really beautiful, really beautiful. But overall, $55, I definitely could have saved that and like taken another $10 and bought the Natasha Denona Love Palette, which I probably would have gotten a lot more use out of. But I mean, at least I still have the cute packaging. That's like the one plus, you know? Next up, I have the Florence Chill Spray. Now I have finished this. Part of the way I finish this is when I'm doing my makeup and I'll spray my face, my daughter will be next to me and she'll be like, oh mommy, will you spray my face? So I would spray this on her face. This is nice and like chilling, and I could feel, I could see why if you like toss this in a bag and truly were just using this to like freshen up or like refresh your face, it would be nice, but it's not going to do absolutely anything to melt your powders in. It's not going to act like a priming spray. It's not going to make your makeup last longer. It's literally just like a little bit chilled water in a bottle. It was $10 for 1.7 ounces. I just feel like it was kind of like I crumpled up a $10 bill and threw it in the toilet and then immediately flushed it. So that was a bummer. I did want to try something from this brand. I do actually really enjoy their cream blushes. The spray, I would skip. You can get better. Get the Pretty Fresh ColourPop one for $14. You get more products, so it's actually a better bang for your buck anyway. Just get that. Skip the Florence spray. Next up, I have this one from Milk. This is actually a balm, and normally I don't regret balms, but I've regretted 2 balms this year, the Buxom and this one from Milk. So this is their Kush Lip Glaze Gloss, and I have mine in the shade Nova. And I would really like this, but this has a grittiness to it, and I just truly don't understand why. So there is the shade right there. It's a really beautiful, warm-toned nude shade, but it just has this grittiness to it. And I had the original Kush Lip Glaze, and I don't remember it having a grittiness to it, so I hope I don't have like just like a weird formula. If you guys have this, let me know if yours has a grit to it. But I wouldn't purchase this again just due to it being like sticky and gritty, which is a bummer because I do really like the shade, but wouldn't repurchase and do regret it because I could have gotten a better balm instead. I just have 2 products left. This is newer to my collection. Again, I feel like this is a packaging made me buy it. I purchased this that day I went to Ulta and I was in a rush to get my daughter, so 2 of the 3 blushes I bought that day I kind of regret. So this is from the Tarte Sugar Rush line. This is what it looks like, and this is just a little bit too pink for me again. Again, I can get this to sheer out and look beautiful. It's not something that I want to declutter, not something I would return. It's just a little bit bright and a little bit pink. And the formula, I will say, when I first got it, it was very hard and waxy on the top. But if you do warm it up with your finger, it doesn't take long. It's definitely a lot easier to work with. It's just super bright. I think that there is a more neutral, like nudie shade in this range. And I think I meant to purchase that, but somehow came home with this one. If I didn't mention, this is in the shade Beaches and Cream. Really cute packaging. I mean, you truly can't deny the cute packaging, but I did not need this. And then the last makeup regret, you guys, I'm really sad about this one, but the Naked Ultraviolet. I was not interested in purchasing this, and then I saw Kelly Gooch do some really beautiful looks with this. I saw Samantha March do a really fun purple look on her Instagram, and I was like, you know what? I feel like I need this palette. So then I bought it, and I'm really not that impressed. Specifically with the more neutral toned side, I just was not that impressed. And I get that these are Naked palettes. They're a little bit more muted, a little bit more toned down, but it definitely took a ton of building. And then I will say just about every single shimmer in this palette is just really chunky, harder to work with. VR basically shows up as like nothing. I was super disappointed in that because I wanted this to be just like the most beautiful red green shimmer. I want to try this with like a white base underneath and see if that helps, but this is almost just more like a lid topper. I was just really disappointed in that. Dazed is okay, but it definitely takes some building. Digital, not a great shade. I would say that Purple Dust, Euphoric, Cyberpunk, and Warning are pretty decent shades, and I actually do like the Purple Pastel in this palette as well. But overall, I just feel like there are better purple palettes on the market. I would recommend, I haven't even tried it, but I would recommend probably the ColourPop formula over this, like the Lilac You a Lot, or I think there's another purple one, or just purple single shadows from different brands. I know I have some from Clarity Cosmetics that are shimmers that I love. The Bite Size palette from Sugar Pill has some really fun purples, so this is a bummer. I was really excited about this. This is the first Naked palette I bought in like this harder packaging. I still am interested in Naked Honey, but really let down by the Ultraviolet and definitely regret purchasing this. All right, you guys, after that, those are all of my makeup regrets so far of 2020. I have been bringing quite a bit into my collection still. Gotta reel it in. But I would love to hear from you guys in the comments below about any makeup regrets that you have from this year. What should I stay away from? Because it seems like I really can't stay away from anything, but maybe if you guys send me the warning signals, maybe then I'll stay away. If you could include like a warning signal emoji in your comment, bonus points to you, but by no means do you feel it, like, don't feel like you have to do that. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for sticking around to watch today's video if you made it to the end. I really appreciate it. I love how supportive this community is. Thank you guys always for your kind comments and just your support in general. You have no idea how much it actually means to me, so thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope that everybody is having an absolutely amazing day, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye!